Hello and welcome to another Metalcast from Metal Coffee Shop. My name is Heidi Ellsworth and we're here to talk about everything metal. We want to know what's happening out there. And as everyone knows, one of the big conversations, no matter what part of construction you're in, is about the labor shortage. So we have brought an expert on today to talk about what are some solutions? Hey, how often do you hear that? Solutions to help with the labor shortage. So I am honored to welcome Josh Engelbrecht with Tool Belt. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hey, I really appreciate you having me, Heidi. Excited to be here today.
I'm really excited. You know, I love technology, love it, especially when it's talking in the construction realm. We all know that's going to be the solution for us, for the labor shortage going forward. And you've done so much. So before we get started on that topic, which is we're going to go deep, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Tool Belt.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. For everyone watching, my name is Josh Engelbrecht, the CEO and founder of Tool Belt. My background has been in largely our industry my entire career. So I started off basically as a general contractor, doing a lot of exterior remodeling and even got into custom home building. And, you know, one of the biggest challenges I faced was like, how do you find good quality crews, right? Whether it's subcontractors or even your individual installers. And when I kind of took a step back and really looked at like, how are we finding these people and how are these great crews finding me? I realized it was all word of mouth. I'd have to call Heidi to, call Chad, to call Mark and, eventually kind of get back to me. And what I realized was a lot of the crews were really skilled at their trade and not at the trade of business. And they relied on a lot of established networks to find people and whatnot. And so I realized there was no central place for people to, find each other, right? We did Indeed, we tried ZipRecruiter, tried Craigslist, right? And all of them were really unsuccessful. And, I realized if there was like a tool, and if the contractors could use our technology as if it was a tool that could connect contractors, builders, people that need labor to skilled labor, tradespeople, installers, or even subcontractors, that actually on both sides could do more work. And, that's what we've successfully built here at Tool Belt. So
that's great. Wow. I mean, we need those connections. There's been such a change in the industry, in home improvement, roofing for sure, over the years, where 20 years ago, there weren't a lot of sub crews, but today that is one of the main sources of labor for so many of our home improvement companies. And so to get that connection, it's just never been there before. This software has really made the difference. Tell us a little bit about where you are today with the software, like what's happening and what's some of the feedback you're getting from crews and from contractors.
Yeah, so our product has definitely evolved over the years. So, for context for everyone, we started in late 2019 going to market. We went mobile first, just because there's not many laptops on roofs. Right? So, and everyone kind of had a phone, and that's when like the smartphones, really everyone started using apps and whatnot. And then primarily, our business is we have to build like a two-sided marketplace, right? So it's kind of like a Uber or Airbnb and DoorDash. Like you got to have people that need labor and you have to have people that need work. And so we really focused on the Pacific Northwest at first for the first first year and a half. And then actually Indeed.com approached us from a business partnership lens and actually became a small investor in my business and helped us expand across the West. So a lot of people know us as a West company, and now we actually service, largely even a little bit more, at least 50 of the top metro markets across the United States. I'm going to be expanding, to more markets. Like we even help contractors in small areas like in Montana find crews. So
that's great.
The feedback that we've gotten, like at Tool Belt, like what we always try to focus on is how do we reduce the friction, right? Like how do we build technology that mimics the existing word of mouth process for both parties. And I think largely that's why we've been successful, because a lot of tech companies in our space, they build software for the large guys. Mm-hmm. And they're really important. We have a lot of great relationships with them, but your CRMs and ERPs, those are really complex pieces of software. And software doesn't have to be like that. So with Toolbelt, we've taken a lot of time and we start with the customer and work backwards. So we started with the installer and tried to build technology that was super helpful for the installer. So he felt empowered to use our software. And with literally 2 clicks, you can find, the contractor that you need to connect with. And so we do thousands of those connections across the country every day.
Wow. Wow. And you do both individuals and crews, right?
Yeah, correct. So we have 2 user types on our platform. So you're either a licensed contractor, right? And that varies by states. Like in California, you have to basically, pass the bar exam to get a contractor's license there.
Yeah.
And in Texas, it's the opposite side of the coin, right? And so by whatever state or municipality, you have to have a license requirement. And then if you're not licensed, right, you have a tradesperson. And there's plenty of installers out there. And part of the big issue, and Toolbelt's a really key part in this whole labor solution component, but like you always hear that our industry is like, we're 50,000 installers short or 100,000. And, I was in the Army back in the day, and I always make this analogy of like, okay, let's say in California, you're 1,000 roofers short and we paratroop in 1,000 roofers.
Yeah.
How are you going to place them? So part of the issue in our industry is, in order to be placed, you have to be found. And there is no network for people to be found. And that's really what Toolbelt, what we try to be is like, if I'm the best roofer in Scottsdale, Arizona, and my wife gets a job in Seattle, how do I move, right?
Yeah.
And be found that I am good. And with Toolbelt, you can have that profile as an individual installer and promote yourself. And, we're big on, everyone being inclusive and trying to make sure that everybody, whether you've had 40 years experience in this industry, or you're just trying to get started, right?
Right.
You can be found on our platform.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So you said it started out as an app on the phones, but you have a big announcement coming out right now that it is now available both on desktop or computers, online, I should say the right thing, and app. Tell us about that. That's a great innovation.
It is. I appreciate that. So yeah, you heard it here first. So we've had a web application that we've been, working with a lot of our close clients on and gathering the feedback. And basically, whether it's mobile or desktop, it's for different customers. So what we found is like our larger customers, they really wanted a desktop solution, but they wanted it simple. Because it's quick to go down like scope creep, right? Like, all of a sudden you start developing all these features that don't really reduce the friction, right? So what we've done is we've launched in our web app to where, people can be able to, soon they will be shortly here, it's be in April, it's going to be launching. You're going to be able to go onto our website, log in, create an account, right? And then have that, seamless experience to find the crews that you need. And so we're really excited to be able to launch, the account creation feature, for our web app.
Well, and I think that to what you said earlier, that brings it all together again, right? The inclusive, because you have a number of people who are working in an office day to day, recruiters, HR, business owners, who they're at their computers all day long. And the phone is kind of over here. Yeah, we're doing a few texts and stuff, but they want to do most of their business here. Whereas when you're out in the field, you're doing it on your phone and you're there. So now with this, you've really included everyone to be able to get onto the same platform.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, right. And, we took, a year plus and really just like we'd go to their offices and see how they currently try to find crews and how they're currently posting, how they're currently managing their jobs. And so, I mean, we've spent hundreds of hours, observing and getting the feedback, and we've really nailed it, with what we've built, based on like putting that out with our existing customers. So it's really user friendly and it's easy for anyone to step in and start using in case you get a new production manager or someone gets promoted, and like anyone like in the back office can use our software. And I mean, it's not complex at all. It's literally designed to be point and click. So we're really excited.
I think that's great. You said something earlier that I just want to kind of touch on again, and is that being found. And that we, do we have as large a labor shortage as we think, or is it just we're not looking in the right places? I think of all these kids coming out of college, and I've talked to so many young people who are like, I can't find a job. And I'm like, do you know how many jobs are out there and how much you're wanted? But there's just that connection hasn't been made. So really to be able to connect both individuals and crews with the roofing industry in one place, and not just roofing, I know you do everything, and let's talk about that a little bit too, but to be able to get across all of construction, especially exteriors, that's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you look at like nursing or accounting or any other career fields, it's like, okay, like I have to go to college for this. And then when I'm done, like I'm going to be able to go on Indeed, or I can go on ZipRecruiter. I can create a LinkedIn account, right? And so there's all these processes and platforms that are built out. And then, in our industry, it's not. It's a lot of on the job training, which is really the best way to learn. That you can't really go to college for how to put a standing seam metal roof on. You literally have to be, there's theory, but then there's like, okay, like you actually have to do it, right? And still, nevertheless, like, you need to have a platform that you can promote your skill set, so you can, actually like, showcase to your local community that, you do have the skills, and therefore you could be more marketable and you could get paid more. Right. And right now it's just all word of mouth, and just kind of, that's your resume, is just who and sometimes who can't keep you steadily busy because there's seasonalities. And so there's a lot of like our smaller contractors or installers, like, they'll get laid off during kind of the slower season. They don't know where to go because they've been on a roof from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Right. So I think of Tool Belt as kind of the place where good contractors come to find, work where there's gaps in their schedule.
Right. Yeah. That's, I think, a really key point is, and we're going to see this, right? Certain parts of the country, whether it's due to snow or whether it's due to the economy, small roofing companies can find work in other parts of the country if they want to travel, or maybe even in their own area. Working with other more GCs or larger roofing companies. Yeah,
no, I agree, and it's going to provide a lot of flexibility and mobility for a lot of the people in our space, not just in roofing, but just for those that are listening. I mean, we do the entire critical path, so we're in foundation, framing, fencing, decking, roofing. And then we even have what we classify as specialties. So we all know like roofing's not roofing, right? Like a shingle crew is completely different than a flat crew. It's different than a metal crew, right? And then there's even different metal.
Right.
On Tool Belt, we track that data, and people can actually select like what specific trades they do.
Perfect, because we were on Metalcast and we like to talk about metal. So let's talk about that. You've gotten Tool Belt is part of the Metal View program with Sherwin-Williams, and you have as is Metal Coffee Shop, and some great things, because if there is an overall labor shortage, there is a definite labor shortage in the skilled or specialty trades, metal, slate, tile, all of those. So on the metal front, and you say you're tracking that data, what are you seeing in your platform for individuals and crews that are doing metal?
Surprisingly, there's more people than you would probably think that, are creating profiles, classifying themselves that they do metal. But like how we track the success of that is like seeing like their gallery work and photos, right? A lot of people are uploading that content, so that way when they contact somebody or someone contacts them on our platform, they can actually see some of the installs that they've done. And you can tell these are actually their pictures, because it's, usually the photos usually taken sideways,
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of great quality work on there. So I personally think, except for a lot of like your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades, like not crews or subs, but the individual tradespeople, I think the labor shortage is more magnified by the inadequate ways that we find each other. Right. That's my personal opinion, and we have a lot of data that supports that. It was always my hunch, as a contractor starting this, because, you would have, and people listening to this hear this all the time. If you reach out to a crew and like, oh, I'm slammed, I'm busy for the rest of the month or summer, and then they call you back 2 weeks later, like, hey, do you still have that job? So it's like, I kind of realized like how the dynamics work. But with metal, in a lot of the specialty, roofing trades, we have a lot of crews and a lot of individuals on here that actually do that. And that's kind of the value that we bring the industry is we're that central place that can capture that data and be able to connect both sides and also work with a lot of manufacturers as well and say, hey, like, we have a labor force here in your market, like you should reach out to them for training opportunities, right? We've done that successfully, with a lot of OEMs across multiple trades.
When you talk about cross trades, when we're talking about metal coffee shop, roofing, siding, metal buildings, gutters, there's so many things, and all of you people can search on your platform across the board for all types of metal construction, right?
Yeah, correct. Whether it's siding, whether it's roofing, right? And so the whole gamut is available, on our platform from a trade standpoint.
As you're talking to some of these individuals who are doing metal, crews who are doing metal contractors who are finding their crews, what's some of the feedback that you're hearing?
They like how easy it is to use. And I think everyone says that about our software, but there's literally, 4 buttons on ours. So, like it's pretty point and click. And so they really like that. They like the ability to kind of personally brand. But I think the biggest reason why contractors love using our platform is we don't get in the way of you connecting with the people. So when you come on, what a lot of the feedback we like is like you can go on and let's say you're looking for an internal metal crew, Heidi, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
You post, projects, and you post on our platform that you're looking for these type of individuals, and I apply to you. On our app, how it works is if I click apply, I can actually call or text you, right? Directly.
Okay.
And that, I think when you think about reducing the friction, like that's mainly the feedback, because we don't try to get in the way. I think we've all had apps like that where it's just like, I can't find my Uber driver. I wish I could just call him, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a message through here and do all that. Like we don't take that. We want to keep that experience because our ultimate goal is to connect these people for long-term relationships, right? My goal is I want you off our platform because I want you working, because that means our overall economy is actually getting bigger because you're actually doing work.
I want to touch on MetalView too, because a lot of people have been like, well, how does that work? And Toolbelt is part of the overall industry resources that Sherwin-Williams have brought together. So once you have connected with Sherwin-Williams and then you have connected with your metal manufacturer, then all of these resources come into play. And you're working with a number of those manufacturers, right?
Yeah, I think what Mark McDonald has put together with that program is very, it's a word I want to use, very transformative. I don't even want to call it really disruptive, because I think whether you're a home improvement company or even your existing metal contractor, you can take advantage of a lot of those resources that are in the MetalView program. And I think he's done a great job, putting together really an a la carte solution for either that will amplify current metal roofing contractors to grow their business, right? Whether that's for additional sales training, right? Whether that's just streamlining measurements with, their partners over at EagleView. And then where we just play, a key component is, your sales is growing. We can help you find the individual installers or subcontractors, to actually match that. But I think, what Sherwin-Williams put together, in a lot of collaboration with a lot of the OEMs in the space, with that program is going to be really beneficial to allow new contractors that maybe don't do metal roofing that would love to be able to get in there to actually take advantage of these resources all in one shop. And we're just excited to play one key part of that, and being able to say, hey, we can help you find the crew. So don't let that stop you from getting in this, right? Because a lot of customers want metal, and a lot of these exterior companies would love to lead with metal, but they're limited on I don't know how to measure this. I don't know how to train my guys to sell this, right? I don't have a manufacturer, right? I don't have a distributor. And that program provides a holistic solution really for any contractor that, whether you're in roofing or not, I think you should really take advantage of.
Yeah, I agree. And it to get into that, to get all the services, to really be able to take your business to that next level, selling it, And this just hasn't happened before with metal. It's always been kind of a one-off as they go. And there's some amazing metal companies out there, but to really take it to that next level of one call close, and having the crews available to be able to meet the demand. We see the demand out there for metal. We see it, and we see it through the surveys and reports.
I think like where like metal was at is like, it's kind of probably similar to how roofing was too. You still have your individual roofing companies that just do that, but then a lot of these exterior companies that, really try to be proactive in the market and getting customers and really trying to deliver a great customer experience and on the whole exterior envelope. I just think we've seen it evolve. Shingles was that way. Siding was that way, windows was that way, and now it's not. And I think metal is starting to get there. You see it in solar, like we're big in solar,
Right.
Large solar companies. Solar's getting into roofing, and so I think you're going to continue to see this evolution, evolve because our industry is evolving, right? So
Right.
you just have to embrace it, and all these solutions are really makes it more light lifting, right? Like, why would you only want to do 4 roofing jobs a week if you could do 8? If you could service more customers at the same quality, why would you not want to do that as a business owner?
Yeah, exactly. You have everything. You have your foundation. You have your systems and processes. Now it's just about bringing in more customers and having the labor to install it, which is always the important part. So there's kind of 2 things. One, if you are interested in getting into the metal sales and getting into metal view, like we said, first step, Sherwin-Williams, participating manufacturers, and then you will have all these resources, including tool belts, to kind of kick you off and take you to that next level. For other metal companies out there, metal siding, roofing, who maybe are not doing metal view, but just want to get onto tool belt, how do they do that, Josh?
Yeah, so you can go onto the App Store right now and type in tool belt, and we'll come up here. We got fantastic reviews, or 4.5 stars on both. Really great feedback, and it takes about 60 to 90 seconds to create an account, right? And then depending on how detailed you want to go, it's available in English and Spanish as well. Our app also translates. Actually, it's available like 5 or 6 languages now.
Awesome.
But I mean, if you're a metal contractor, that is looking for, whether it's, subcontractors or your individual installer, so you can hire W-2 in-house, we have a plethora of individual tradespeople or crews that can meet that criteria. So 60 seconds, download it here in April. We'll do a big announcement here that our web app account creation, so right now we're going to be going through a little bit of a redesign on our website. We have kind of our current or older website right now. We're in the middle of coding a new one that's going to kind of have that easy experience to get people to sign up. But, it's going to be pretty straightforward. So you go to mytoolbelt.com or you go to the App Store and type in tool belt.
That's great. And like you said, it's easy. So try it, go check it out. So if you're a siding contractor listening to this, doing metal siding right now, you may get some folks who are from the painting industry who are looking to getting into metal. So it's the amount of resources out there are all for all construction, all exteriors. And so it's going to offer an opportunity to kind of bring some new people into your different industries also, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a networking component that's really easy to use where you can connect with these different trades, right? And one of the biggest success stories we've seen is, a lot of contractors have been able to pick up additional work by networking with other people that are either part of the critical path after or before, right? So if you think about in simple terms, I'm a siding contractor, I'm putting on fiber cement. Well, if I'm a painting contractor, why would I not try to connect with every siding company? Because everything that gets put on a wall needs to be coated with something, right? If I'm a roofer, why would I not try to connect with any framer? Because everything that they frame has to have sheathing, has to have a roof on, right? So there is the big networking component on Tool Belt that people can leverage for free.
Yep.
And so it's not, you're sitting at home at night, watching the game, watching March Madness right now. And, you download Tool Belt, you can start thumbing through and you start connecting with people in your area and start, growing relationships. And that's really what our industry is about growing relationships. And that's what our platform does better than anything else.
Connecting all the trades.
Yeah, all the trades.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, Josh, congratulations. Thank you so much. For everyone out there, you can find Tool Belt, of course, on Metal Coffee Shop. They have a full directory. You can find information, and they're also find that information within the Metal View program. So, Josh, again, thank you for being on Metalcast. We're thrilled to have you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us, Heidi, and I appreciate everything you do for our industry. So thanks again.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching and listening. This is the kind of information we're trying to bring to help your business grow, to really solve some of the problems that are out there. So be sure to check all of our Metalcasts under our Read, Listen, Watch under podcasts and Metalcast, and also our webinars under Metal Talk. So we will be back with you next week with another episode of Metalcast. Be sure to go to your YouTube channel and to your favorite podcast channel, subscribe and hit those notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be seeing you next time on Metalcast.